Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our CGDQ 10th anniversary special, where we have Metroid Zero Mission coming up. And there's actually two interesting factoids I thought everybody would like to know. For CGDQ, this is in fact the only game released after 2000 that was featured in the marathon. But if you really think about it, like 2004 was like 6 years ago for CGDQ, so like it's really not. It's kind of like a modern game. Kind of doesn't really fit the theme of CGDQ, but it's fun. And the other factoid, this is in fact the last game that Frezzy Man did in the marathon. So out of his 15 games or whatever, this is the last one. So I thought it was pretty cool. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our runner. So we have CScotty, and we have joined by him doing commentary. It's going to be Dragonfangs and CrunchyLex. So welcome, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello?
Well, hello there. So in order to erase any kind of doubt, I'm CrunchyLex.
And I am Dragonfangs.
I am Scotty.
And let me tell you all, you're in for a real treat, because right now we've got two legends here right now. We have CScottyW, who is, at present, the undisputed king of not just Zero Mission, but just GBA Metroid. He has swept the world records. And then we have Dragonfangs, who I'm pretty sure knows more about this game than some people who work at Nintendo. So nothing but the absolute best for all y'all here today.
How do you not include yourself in that list of legendary people?
Because all I do is talk loud and yell a bunch.
This is the voice of the gods, CrunchyLex. So we're ready to present you with this 90% run. There hasn't changed that much since there was ran last. The 100% category has been solid for like almost since the game was released. But there's been some new stuff, so we'll be able to showcase some new things for you.
Oh, we're ready to go if everybody is. And somebody wants to count Scotty down, it'll be good to go.
All right, let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And we're off.
I think this is the only Metroid game I can think of where you start by seeing Samus actually land.
Is it? I just keep starting next to the ship, you know. I mean, Metroid Prime, technically. Right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So Zero Mission is a remake of the original game. And as such, most of the map is almost completely intact from the original game. It's just they added like new blocks and new barriers for things, and they added a bunch of new main upgrades that were in stuff like Super and Metroid 2.
Yeah, I think Zero Mission still holds up today as one of the best examples of an enhanced remake.
Oh, definitely.
But unfortunately for Scotty, Brinstar, this first area is also one of the most challenging. It's very, very vertical, and he has to do a whole lot of very tight jumping, or he's going to be losing many seconds in both of these large vertical shafts.
Missing a couple of wall jumps there. So yeah, there's also a lot of random things going on in Brinstar. There's not too big of a time loss. Like, it's not going to really be noticeable in a marathon run, but for regular runs, it's like by far the most common reset spot. This area is losing several seconds to RNG. And speaking of the first thing we're gonna fight here is the Brinstar worm. And if you do this fight correctly, there's no RNG, but we'll see if Scotty can get this double. Oh, he misses the first round. He missed the second one too.
And he gets the slow pattern.
Yeah, so this is where the RNG comes in. You are able to hit the boss with 2 missiles on the same frame, which lets you 2-cycle it. And if you get a 2-cycle, there is no RNG in the fight. But if you don't, then it is random whether he decides to shoot spikes at you or not, which takes like 5 or 6 seconds extra, and it's really annoying.
And here we are with one of the first major changes you might notice if you remember the CGDQ run, getting Charge Beam early. We used to actually wait to grab it later so you wouldn't have to stick around for the death cutscene, but now we grab it early.
Yeah, just the utility of Charge Beam. is enough to offset grabbing it later. Just like there's not really a good time to grab charge beam regardless, so we might as well take it the first opportunity we have and save a little bit of time being able to do the pseudo screw attacks, where if you spin jump with a charge beam, you could do a little attack without stopping.
And that was a super clean hive room from Scotty there. That is the room that Zero Mission runners like to wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats over, because it's so easy to fall or have a bug eat one of your missiles, and missile count is exact to get through that room quickly.
It really is. And so this entire detour through Brinstar is to get to bombs, which is the bombs are like the most versatile item in this game. It lets you go like this. Very much more noticeable when you played randomizer how useful bombs are, but they really let you go everywhere you want, pretty much.
Yeah.
So not only do we need it to get to Norfair in first place, but they're just like a really, really good item that we want.
Yeah, this is arguably the best bombs have been in a 2D Metroid up to this point. The blast radius is big, the timer is good. You can go all over the place with bombs in Zero Mission.
These bugs are also completely random and tends to troll you a lot.
Okay, so now with bombs in hand, or I guess in ball, Scotty is done with Brinstar for now. Now, if you play this game casually, this is the part where you'd be going to face off with Kraid and have a big old hoedown, but that's not how we do it in any percent. We're going to actually mix it up and go down to fight Ridley first, because, like a lot of good Metroid games, this one, boss order is more of a suggestion, a recommendation, if you will, rather than a hard order.
Yeah, so routing this game has been an interesting journey. 100% isn't that complicated. It's always been kind of like everyone agrees that going to Ridley first is the fastest choice. But for 100%, there are still lots of different viable routes that are within seconds of each other that end up being just preference. And it's like every time someone figures out a new route, it's the meme that it's about 2 seconds faster or slower. So it's all preference all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think Zero Mission is actually also a bit unique among Metroid speedruns in that 100% is actually the main category of this game just by number of runners.
Yeah, it's the more interesting. 100% has a couple of spots that are not great. We'll get to those later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ridley first also lets us skip a cutscene. Normally you would see another one involving Ridley if you enter Kraid, but if Ridley's already dead, you don't get that cutscene, so that's cool.
Yeah, it skips a good 20 seconds of just watching cutscenes. It's a long-ass cutscene.
Oh yeah. All it amounts to basically is really getting so upset that he did actually turn this car around, and who cares about that, let's be honest.
So yeah, to go on your previous point, the natural route doesn't actually go to Kraid first. It goes to Norfair first to grab Power Grip and Ice Beam, and then goes back to Kraid.
And here we have one of the new areas added in Zero Mission. Criteria was not in the original, but they said, hey, you know, we're just going to add this unknown item that totally looks like the Plasma Beam, because it is the Plasma Beam. Sorry, spoilers.
What spoilers?
And he's going to get the Power Grip because Samus needs a special item in order to be able to lift herself up using only one hand, which honestly is pretty impressive if you stop to think about it.
It seems pretty heavy. Yeah, so picking up Power Grip is not technically, like, we don't need Power Grip, the effect, for anything, but picking the item up removes a barrier in Norfair that's just sitting there, stopping you from progressing until you pick it up.
Yeah, it's, as far as I know, the only example of a hard block on progression, although considering that's after having done Rando where I don't have Power Grip, I will worship at the feet of that vine, because trying to do this category without Power Grip would be, I don't even want to think about it. I really don't.
Rando really makes you appreciate all the small items, doesn't it?
It really does.
Just suddenly not having Power Grip or bombs and you feel so neutered you cannot do anything anymore.
Yeah. And especially in a game like Zero Mission, where I'd say the jumping is among the quickest of 2D Metroids here. Just Samus just feels a lot heavier, and her up and down speed is a lot higher. Just you have to do a lot of the movement feels a lot faster. So you got to be on. You have to be on the ball.
It's very snappy.
That's a good way. It's a good word. I like that.
There's a very high gravity in Zero Mission compared to other Metroid. Yeah, so with power grip in hand, or being the hand, I don't know. We'll be going to Ice Beam and then taking. There's like a hidden shortcut put in the game to get through it. Sadly, a lot of the even though it has the varied routing and stuff, most of the sequence picks in the game are very developer intended, with not really being clever tricks we found, but it's just like a hidden missile block that opens up some tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, I think for better or worse, the developers of this game actually were working on making the game very, very open-ended, very sequence breakable, and that's cool. That's great. We love that. But on the other hand, it does make you feel a little bit less like you're doing something naughty.
Yeah. Oh, Scotty having some issues getting there. You really don't want that statue to grab you, because it's one of those statues that tell you where the next item is, which in this case is Speed Booster, I think. And it has to open the map, go back to Brinstar, it's still in the map, go into Kraid, still in the map, and then point to where the Speed Booster is. And it takes forever, so we just kind of bump jump over it.
Yeah, it's so long you have plenty of time to think about the life choices that brought you to this point and regret them.
And so here we're gonna see a different. Oh, wait, is it this way? Interesting. So he's probably gonna take that missile on the way down. I guess because he wasted a bit of time, he wants to do this to have better enemy placements. But yeah, so we've recently changed to grab this high jump before Ridley. Usually we will do this on the way out of Ridley back to Brinstar. Doing it this way is a short, like a slightly longer detour than it would normally be. But just having high jump is such a convenience in Ridley. This route isn't really faster per se. I think it was timed to be pretty much even. But you're gonna see the cocoon fight coming up be way faster. And just really in general, it's just way easier with high jump.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that when you have high jump, Samus's vertical speed is actually faster as well. So little time saves add up to the time you lose for doing that detour.
Yeah,
and quality of life.
So this fight, this is like super hard to do. I don't know how Scott is consistent with this. It's insane. But high jump also has the built-in functionality of spring ball, which is really useful. Not having to like saving the time of bombs on any bomb jump. And as Crunchy said, high jump works by increasing your starting velocity when jumping. So even when performing very small jumps, your jumps are just faster with high jump.
Yeah, but now here in Ridley, anytime you see Scotty do a jump that takes up most of the height of the screen, if not the entire height, assume that you had to use bomb jumps without high jump, and you'll understand why it makes Ridley a lot easier.
There would be a lot of bomb jumps in this room alone that is safe.
But unfortunately for Scotty, the one thing that high jump makes a little bit harder in Ridley is the one thing you do not want to mess up in Ridley.
Oh, the upcoming pillar jump, yeah.
Yep.
There's a pillar in the middle of Ridley that want to jump over, and if you fall down, that is very bad news.
Yeah, it's over a minute time loss, isn't it?
Unless you do the really difficult backup, where you jump like the frame perfect jump back up, where you jump on top of a crumble block.
Sky doesn't have to worry about that, though. He makes the pillar jump no trouble, and now gets the supers, which are the big joy of doing Ridley first, is getting these early. And getting a second one, because 4 super missiles, strictly speaking, is all you really need for the category. I'm not sure if Scotty's going to go for Brinstar super.
I do not believe so.
But no, yeah, 4 is the magic number. for doing bosses fast in this category. And
Four
with
is-
that, yeah.
4 is the amount we want for Mother Brain, and just picking up those 2 super tanks and all the easily available missile tanks is just enough to kill Ridley comfortably. So it's just a perfect amount. Really, Scott is standing in a very specific spot there to be able to shoot through the beam that the eye shoots. And here's another
Nice.
another advantage of high jump is able to do this refill glitch, where you're able to refill your ammo while picking up the item. It is possible without it, but with Spring Ball, there's a very good setup for it. We'll see it once more. We should see it once more after the crate fight.
Meanwhile, Ridley's singing you the song of his people, although not for too long, because even in any percent, Ridley is kind of a joke.
I do like how Scotty just decides to not take the safety tank that takes 3 extra seconds to grab, and just risks being like the tiniest mistake against Ridley could kill you, because the strat is just to run into him.
No, yeah.
Like taking like 1 extra hit kills you, but Scott is just that confident in his fights that he doesn't care.
Yeah, that fight is free until you decide to start doing it on 1 E-tank, then it becomes incredibly stressful. And he's skipping this E-tank as well. I swear I heard him say he was taking a safety E-tank, but he might have just been messing with us. It's hard to say.
He might just also be playing on muscle memory.
That's true.
Just-
That's true.
Just forgets that he's supposed to take it safe since it's a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
No, but joking aside, if there's anyone who I would trust to do really dangerous strats, and in fact we've seen him do it at marathons. In fact, at past GDQ is doing very unsafe strats and pull them off without trouble. It's Scotty. He is incredibly consistent. Not much to say now. He's just heading on up to Kraid now. Doesn't even need to stop and grab the high jump. So it's just backtracking for a little bit.
And like, if you're gonna talk about different meta games, like backtracking is like a really big deal in Zero Mission, especially the casual route. Like the route the statues tell you to go is so full of backtracking, it's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're able to avoid most of it. So. Also, just Scotty, master of consistency. We're trying to hype you up here, boy. Don't do this to us.
His consistency is matched only by his desire to make me sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
So he's hoping to hit. I would guess he's hoping to hit a couple of missile drops here. He might have enough already at 14. Yeah, he's not even stopping to grab stuff, so he's probably comfortable with 14. I haven't played any percent in so long that I forget what you really want here. He wants some missiles in crate.
Some missiles.
Some amount of missiles. 14 sounds good, probably.
Yeah, it seems like a good number. I don't know about you, but I imagine holding 14 missiles is pretty difficult. Heck, even holding 1 missile is difficult. They look pretty big.
Samus has a very big hand. You don't get the power grip earlier, so we could hold more missiles. That's how it works.
She can only hold 1 missile in hand, but she can hold many missiles in gun, as it turns out. Alright, but coming up on Kraid is also one of the, I would call the big gatekeeping trick of doing this category. Which is what we call acid worm skip.
Oh right, I almost forgot, almost repressed the memory of acid worm skip. I know Scotty does this, the fastest method, which is also
Yeah, he does.
So you want to get over this vat of acid.
God, that looks so scary!
So crazy. So the version Scotty does is very execution heavy. Like there's a lot of you have to do, but it's actually the most lenient on timing.
Yeah, the big thing there is normally the game wants you to activate those ceiling rail system things so you can go across that room. But using bombs, you can actually force your Samus across that gap. But the big reason why it's a gatekeeper is because if you break that block, you have to leave the room to respawn it, and that costs a lot of time.
Yeah. And so this is where you want at least 10 missiles to be able to kill all of those side hoppers. Beautifully done by Scotty. Not surprisingly hard to hit 2 missiles in a row on these.
Yeah, because the first one you have to shoot earlier than you think you do. Now it's time for Kraid. I'm not. Just watch.
It's a very technical fight. You hold left and you mash B, and he's dead.
Yep. And this is Kraid's angry face because he practiced really hard for this fight and then just doesn't get to show it off. The irony, of course, is that in 100%, Kraid is actually possibly the most challenging boss to do fast.
One of the hard ones for sure. We'll see if we can get the reflex glitch again. That looks good. Yeah.
What a legend.
It's not that hard.
I mean, you say that, but I've gotten it exactly 0 times in runs, Fangs.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. I don't know if that reflects more on you or on Scotty.
It absolutely reflects more on me, and not in a good way.
No, Scotty does a lot of impressive stuff in this run. Reflex glitch is pretty cool. There is actually possible to skip the Kraid fight in this game by bump jumping over him. Sadly, you cannot get into Tyrion after doing it, so you still kind of have to fight him.
Yeah, that's definitely more just for the funsies.
Yeah, it just resets the room, so it's not. But you can get speed booster. You can get through the speed booster without fighting him. Useful in no boss mini boss runs. Would technically be useful in rando if it was consistent in any form.
Alright, now we're going to see if he actually decides to stop and grab this E-Tank.
No.
No. He lied to us. Shaking my head.
He's gonna take the E-Tank after Charlie. It's the fastest safety.
Yeah, you know, sure, that sounds about right.
It might as well. Okay, so we're coming up to the second spot where people just really dislike the any percent category. The first one being as we got through earlier. But Tyrion is a big problem for this category just because of how little ammo we have. We're just grabbing the bare minimums, and optimally we just want a bunch of super drops from the Metroids, and they're pretty generous about that, but not nearly enough to be consistent. So this is a big chunk of just optimizing your ammo resources depending on what drops you get, and it's pretty tough, and you lose a lot of time if you get bad RNG here.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you need 4 supers for Mother Brain, so you say, oh, then don't use supers, but you still get the drops, and every super drop you get at full supers is 2 wasted supers, so you might as well use them, but then you have to rely on drops, so it's a vicious cycle.
So you try to use a couple of supers and then hope by using math and statistics that you're gonna get some kind of supers at the end.
No one told me there was going to be math.
Well, we don't have to do math on stream. It's been done before. Scotty's done the math. I don't know if Scotty's actually done math. I know Sam's done math.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably Sam. Shout out to Sam the Digital.
Yes.
Here's a fun little room. There's just four Metroids chilling here. Just freeze them all, shoot them all. Hopefully don't get grabbed.
Scotty has gotten a single super drop so far, I think. Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. But he's making do. It's one thing we didn't quite mention, but it sounds kind of duh, but not getting grabbed by Metroids is incredibly important. Not just because you don't die, but because you guarantee missile drops if you're at full health, so...
Yeah, so if you have full health, any health drop you would have gotten turns into a normal missile drop instead. So getting hit has a really hard impact on your ammo in this part, and you're gonna have to spend way more time farming right before Mother Brain, just getting grabbed a single time.
Ooh, he went down to 0, but managed to get the drops, and there we go, off the last Metroid.
So we're probably gonna see Scotty do a little bit of farming here to get up to 50 missiles, and then go in and do Zeb Skip, which is in Zero Mission. It is a frame perfect trick where you set up on a frozen enemy, and then you place a bomb above it, and it's the same frame that bomb. Oh, he got a bad pattern from the turret, and it's gonna reset the room.
Looks a little bit high.
He maybe froze the Rinket too high. That might be it. Yeah. So you want it to be very specific, and then you want to, on the same frame that the bomb would propel you into the air, you want to unmorph.
There we go.
Frame perfect. There we go, and that somehow clips you through the wall. And if you don't kill the first Zebetite, the third one doesn't spawn, which saves even more. Like, it more so than being fast, the Zeb Skip just saves on ammo, which means we don't have to pick up as much ammo before getting here. We don't have to do a second round of farming that we needed to do earlier.
Yeah, because the old strat was to break the first... Was it the first 2 Zebetites?
Yeah, first 2 Zebetites, and then go back out and farm some more. Alternatively, you could grab a third super tank in Brinstar, and then you did not have to farm optimally.
A fun little thing there. You saw Scotty. I forgot his name for a second there. You saw Scotty do a shine spark up in the escape there. If you run against Mother Brain while she's exploding, the game just says, yeah, you're totally running, because the running man counts as running. So there you go. You get a shine charge while standing still. It's kind of great.
Yeah. Technically, Mother Brain stopping, there is not a wall. She's just keep resetting your position over and over. So you're still building speed.
Yeah, and there we go. Back into the ship that looks like Samus's helmet, because she is nothing if not a little bit vain.
Sick 20 minutes PB, or no, like 15 minutes world record or something. I don't know. I'm not even putting any effort into this debate. It's not the end of the game.
Thanks, please. If you're gonna try to debate the chat, you gotta at least put a little bit of effort. Now, this is the other cool thing about Zero Mission versus the original Metroid. There's an entire section of game added after Mother Brain.
Some people really dislike this part, but I think it's a pretty nice change of pace.
Yeah.
At least the first, like in runs, it's kind of annoying because it's just a huge stretch of the game that's the same in every category and kind of very static and not that interesting. But the first time through, it's pretty cool, just trying to suddenly be a stealth game instead.
Oh yeah, in casual playthroughs, this section was really cool and also very tense. Unfortunately, in the speedrun, it's, well, the most consistent part of the game because there is zero randomness.
Almost zero randomness. Okay, for practical reasons, there's no real randomness. So the pirates are completely deterministic as long as the alarm is running. Right? So for most of the time, the alarm is going to be running. Or there's not going to be any pirates. There are like 2 rooms, I think. Like the first room is one of them, where the first pirate could be looking either left or right, and it kind of changes things a tiny bit. And there's he's taking the safety save. That's reasonable.
And he skipped the map. Well done, Scotty.
Oh, well done, Scotty. Well done, Scotty. And there's a room later on where like a pirate could be crawling out of a tunnel or not, depending on RNG before the alarm. But it's super tiny. So we're doing a setup here where we try to stay out of sight for just long enough so that the door goes up right when we get there. Get caught intentionally here to be able to do the team kill strat. This one is also pretty new and funny. We let these pirates kill each other, which turns off the alarm instead of waiting.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that strat in part because the old strat was called Tripwire Skip, so now you can also call this one Tripwire Skip Skip.
Oh yeah, the skip.
And remember this room, everybody, we'll be back here at least once.
And taking a lot of hidden passageways here to make this part shorter. There's a lot of this in the Citrus. There's so many secrets.
Yeah, this section is this section does, however, kind of end up being a bit of an autopilot section.
Actually, jumping through this door makes the transition faster, so it does save time. There's gonna be that. Oh, he got caught. Oh no.
He got caught.
That is
No
deceptively
fast
tight.
searchlights.
You want to run under the searchlight, and it's like their hitbox is really weird and wonky. So it's hard to get a good visual cue for getting through there. Jumping through this door as well, yeah. So it's hard to get a really good visual cue, and you just kind of have to, like, it's pretty lenient. There's like, oh no, that's rough. Like there's a pretty big window, but it's like you don't really know where it is. You kind of have to take a small guess feeling.
All right, well, that was a little bit slightly messy, but he makes it through the first part of Suitless, now heading into the temple.
It's fine. He missed the jump. It's fine.
This is fine.
Gotta shoot Roger. He didn't shoot, or did I just not see it? Did he miss the shot on Roger?
Dang, is everything just falling apart? Misses the shot. God.
No, this run is cursed now.
It's coming up on my least favorite room in the run right here. Hey, no problem.
That room like turns into a mental block for me occasionally. It's really annoying.
It's like if you mess up the wall jump once, the alarms go off. You have to go through the long way in the room, and it's just bad times all around. That's an intentional alarm.
Like, it's just 4 wall jump. It's not hard.
I mean, wall jumps are easy until you accidentally drop one at the worst possible time.
It's also doing a very specific set of movements through that room to make sure that the final pirate is looking into the wall when you fall down. Lets you let the alarm run out, and that means you don't have to go into a separate save room later on to turn it off, saving a whopping half a second or something.
Hey, half a second is half a second.
So you would have gone left there into the room quickly, because saved it. Hey.
Yeah, and a fun fact there, that power bomb there, you can't actually grab that. It's not actually the power bomb.
Yeah, no, that pirate is just a sprite. It's not actually, like, it's not a real pirate.
But no, yeah, this is the final alarm of Suitless. Once this alarm turns off, Scotty is done with this section. He just has to get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. I'm pretty sure I have nightmares about crawling through a tunnel and being chased by many, many lobsters, because that just sounds horrifying. Very pinchy and unpleasant.
When you say it like that, it sounds horrifying.
I know!
If only there was some way to just hold left and avoid the lobsters every time, 100%.
If only. And that's that. Suitless is over. Now it's time for Charlie.
Yeah, so when we say that there's no RNG in Suitless, we don't count this boss. Because this boss is all of the RNG.
Yeah.
It's holding like a glyph thing that you have to shoot, and it takes a random amount of time between 2 and 4 seconds, I think. I should know this. I think it's between 2 and 4 seconds for the glyph to turn vulnerable. And it's like not vulnerable for that long, so you have to really be on your toes and react to when you can shoot it. And it just starts moving around, shooting lightning everywhere.
And the other thing is, if you stop moving to line up a shot, lightning strikes you. You know, just like in real life.
Yeah, so you have to keep moving all the time. So you're gonna see Scotty just run back and forth and jump up and down for no reason. That's actually decreasing the number of attacks coming in. You can also, you're gonna see Scotty doing it a little bit. You can shoot yourself, which resets the random timer for the next glyph, and it actually gives you, like, the timer after you reset it is actually shorter on average than the normal timer. Ooh, he takes a gamble in that shot and didn't work out. He's 1 shot away from death now.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Scotty, please!
This fight is a nightmare sometimes.
There we go.
And I got it, okay.
Yeah, the other bad thing about this fight is if you miss the glyph, Charlie gets a little bit faster.
Oh yeah, he starts moving faster. Yeah, it's terrifying.
So you miss him 2 or 3 times, and Charlie's just zooming around the room, making troll faces at you, and no one's having a good time, except Charlie. No, who cares about him? Oh yeah, we have the various suits suddenly. Surprise.
Oh yeah, the game just kind of gives you various suits at this part of the game, which annoyingly makes various suit one of the percentage, one of the 9% required in low percent, because you just get it.
So here we are in the final section, now with the fully powered suit, the shoulder pads of might, the gravity suit, the plasma beam. Not the whole shebang, but as much of the shebang as Scotty has collected. And normally you're supposed to feel really powerful here, but as it turns out, in any percent, you're still pretty weak. These pirates can and will ruin your afternoon, so Scotty's gonna have to play it clean to get out of here alive.
Yeah, I think we didn't pick up like most of the beam upgrades, so we don't have long beam or wave beam. What? I like that graphical glitch happens sometimes when you do corner boost, but I've never seen it in that room. That was weird.
Just Scotty things.
Just Scotty things. Interesting. But yeah, so since we don't have long beam, we don't have wave beam, so we can't really kill pirates with the beam from that far away, even though plasma beam is super powerful. Since the low range still makes it really scary. You have to get really close before you can hit things, and sometimes you're running so fast that like it's not enough time to kill the pirates. They have to use missiles far away or whatever.
Alright, Scotty making his way back through some rooms you've already seen, but now it's a little bit different. We're on the offensive, using that pirate as a platform because reasons. And normally this is where the game wants you to go get the power bombs, but we don't need those. So we're just on our way to the final boss already.
Yeah, no, the power bombs are completely optional. You get them right at the end, and in a casual run, the only thing you use it for is breaking a single block. So of course, there's a hidden tunnel that lets you get past that. Oh, whoa! Was that an intentional strat? That was sick. I didn't know you could do that.
Normally I would say no, but with Scotty I'll say probably yes. He did not go for the curved missile. I'm shaking my head, although you can't see it.
I'm gonna say that was probably intentional. It looked cool though. I knew you could break the blocks, but I wasn't aware I wasn't aware of a strat where you froze the pirate to do that though. So yeah, we're actually kind of short on ammo here. So you kind of don't want to just spam missiles. You kind of want to take it a bit slowly.
He can't. Scotty only has one speed, and it isn't slow. Yeah, unfortunately, this section here, normally with wave beam you can break every other block, or with power bombs you can just power through. But yeah, just have to slowly go through there, the way we are now.
Oh, Scotty's a beast. I'm seeing a lot of strats here I haven't seen before.
Oh.
Oh no. This is... Oh no.
Ooh. Yeah, like we said, the pirates are no joke.
Yeah.
Gotta be real careful. Whew.
So even with gravity suits, pirates still do 50 damage a hit, and it's scary.
Yeah, especially since you didn't take any extra E-tanks. Okay, and right there through the red door is our final boss, who takes exactly 6 super missiles to kill, as it turns out.
Also, fun fact, pirates do not drop anything ever, so it is actually impossible to get any health drops on the way to get.
I think this is more about how bad the Pirates Union is than anything else. Not even getting paid.
They don't, they have nothing. So yeah, Scott is taking it slightly safe here.
Oh, we tanked one!
Oh, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm trying to build suspense, Fangs, come on!
I have trust in Scotty. It's
I do too, but I'm trying to build suspense.
Nah.
Gotta build the mood.
Yeah, Mecha can swipe kinda whenever he wants to, and wait a little bit for him to do this swipe before we shoot our supers, because we only have exactly enough supers to kill him. So if you think one, you kind of have to shoot a couple of promo missiles to even it out. Thinking 1 isn't that bad. Thinking 2 starts being a big problem.
We're talking about playing it, so I'll be curious to see how Scotty decides to handle the final 2 Black Pirates. I'm fairly certain he does have a faster strat than just waiting at the top of the platform, but we'll see how that goes for him.
We also have the final real trick. Oh no! Woo. Pirate damages. Ooh, mark there.
That was cool.
Sneaky.
I don't think I've seen that one.
So you want to make this spark stand in a very specific spot. He got that spot really fast. To get a shine spark there without having to go back, and then you go up and one cycle like a pro. It's actually kind of difficult. And then you ball spark through all of this.
Yeah, I was half hoping he was going to go for the space jump through there.
No. I mean, it might have, but it's like you can do a space jump, speed boost with space jump, to go through there like the tiniest amount faster if you do it perfectly, but it's gonna look cool.
And there we go.
That is
That's
time.
That looked to be a 38-42, was it?
45, 46 maybe. I wasn't looking that closely.
All right, we'll meet halfway. We'll give you 44.
We'll give him 44.
Good. Yeah, and considering Scotty's record is 37:40, that is a very good marathon time.
That's a very solid time.
Whew.
Awesome. Well, do you have any final words? I think we can move Scotty in here if you want to give some final shout-outs. Let me do that real quick. Hello, Scotty. Congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
How do you feel about that run? I saw some slop in there, but overall it was
Yeah,
pretty...
kind of nerves at the start, kind of kicking in. I think I lost the majority of my time in the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, Scotty, how do you feel about lying to me about getting a safety E-tank?
No regrets.
You got kind of close to dying there more than once.
What? No, I was fine.
Nah, okay, yeah. I had complete trust in you. I wasn't worried for a second. Crunchy was freaking out.
I think the VOD will show
Have
differently.
Have some faith.
I spent a good 30 seconds talking about how I believe in Scotty to do really dangerous strats and marathons.
Well, we don't have to make this into a contest of who believes in Scotty more.
I think we do.
Regardless.
No, I'm kidding.
No, it's a solid run, though.
Do you have any final shout-outs or anything, Scott?
Shoutouts to the whole Zero Mission community. It's really great. One of my first speedruns and stuck around for quite a while. Everyone's really nice there.
Yeah, it's really easy game to get into. We have tons, like a lot of resources for beginners to get into the game.
Awesome.
Nice group of guys.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's gonna do it for Metroid Zero Mission. Thank you, Scotty, for the run, and thank you, Dragonfangs and Crunchy, for the comments. And we are gonna take a little bit of an extended break this time around. I am heading off as host. Thanks very much for sticking around and watching this entire marathon. It's been a blast. That's gonna do it for me. And we're also switching the restreamer, so the stream is gonna go down for a brief moment. So don't freak out when you see it go down. It will be back up very shortly. But yeah, we're changing restreamers, and then we're gonna get all set up for Zelda, the beginning of the Zelda block. So stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes.